Hello everyone. Last time we have explained about the first meiotic division of the meiosis. We know the meiosis is a type of cell division during which the chromosome number in the cell is reduced to half, and this happens in the gonads or the cells which are undergoing the process of gametogenesis by the process of first and second maturation division or first and second meiotic division during the gametogenesis. So last time we have explained about the first meiotic division, and at the end of first meiotic division the two daughter cells are produced with a haploid set of chromosomes in their nucleus, or the two haploid cells are formed at the end of the telophase 1 or at the end of first meiotic division. Now today we will explain the second meiotic division. Second meiotic division involves the stages or phases such as interphase second, or it is also called as interkinesis, then prophase second, metaphase second, anaphase second, telophase second, and the cytokinesis. So these are the steps involved in the process of second meiotic division of the meiosis. Now we'll explain the stages of second meiotic division one by one. So first is interphase second or interkinesis. The second meiotic division is similar to mitosis. However, there is no DNA duplication or replication taking place in the interphase second of the meiosis. After telophase 1, two haploid daughter nuclei or two haploid cells are formed as explained earlier in a first meiotic division, that is at the end of first meiotic division, that is the last phase of the first meiotic division, that is the telophase 1. So after telophase 1, two haploid daughter nuclei or two haploid cells are formed. Sometimes the uh, process of cell division undergoes the typical resting stage as in a mitosis. This intervening stage or the resting stage between the telophase 1 and the beginning of the prophase second is called as interphase second or interkinesis. So the interphase second or the interkinesis is a typical resting stage taking place between the telophase 1 and the prophase second, and this particular stage is called as interphase second or the interkinesis, but there is no DNA duplication or there is no doubling of chromatin material taking place in the interphase second or interkinesis as that of the interphase of mitosis or the interphase 1 of the meiosis. So this intervening stage between telophase 1 and beginning of prophase second is called as interphase second or interkinesis. This differs from interphase 1 and interphase of mitosis. The interkinesis or interphase second differs from interphase 1 and interphase of mitosis as there is no DNA duplication or a replication or doubling of the chromatin material in the nucleus of the cells in the interphase second or interkinesis. So this is what the difference between the interphase 1, interphase of mitosis and the interphase second or the interkinesis. So during interphase second or interkinesis, there is no DNA duplication or replication taking place in the nucleus of the cells during the interphase second. Then second stage of second meiotic division, that is prophase second. This stage is of shorter duration. The prophase second is of shorter duration and very much simple than prophase 1, because already we have explained the prophase 1. which is very much long and complex and involving several stages, that is 6 stages of the prophase 1, such as pre-liptotin, liptotin, zygotin, pachytin, diplotin, dikinesis, and again cytokinesis. So these are the several steps involved in the prophase 1. But the prophase second is a very short stage, or taking very much shorter time to complete the prophase second. So prophase second is of shorter duration and much simpler than prophase 1. Chromosomes undergo shortening and thickening. The peculiarity of the prophase second is again similar to the mitosis, prophase of mitosis. The prophase second is again quite similar to the prophase of mitosis, and there is a condensation of the chromosomes. So in a prophase second, chromosomes undergo shortening and thickening, that is the condensation of the chromosomes or the chromatids of the chromosome, resulting into formation of shorter and thicker chromosomes in a prophase second. The sister chromatids which have already separated, the sister chromatids have already been separated, the two chromatids of each chromosome remain separate. The two chromatids of each chromosome remain separate except at the centromere. In a prophase second, another event taking place, that is a spindle formation, spindle fiber formation or the spindle formation also taking place in a prophase second, along with disappearance of the nuclear membrane. So these are the three activities or processes taking place during the prophase second, that is condensation of the chromosomes, that is shortening and thickening of the chromosomes, together with formation of spindle fiber or mitotic apparatus or the spindle fiber formation taking place in a prophase second, and thirdly the nuclear membrane begin to disintegrate or disappear during the prophase second. Then third phase, that is metaphase second. At this stage the chromosomes become arranged on the equatorial plate similar to the metaphase of mitosis. The metaphase second of the second meiotic division is again quite similar to the metaphase of mitosis. That is, at this stage also the chromosomes become arranged on equatorial plate. The centromere of each chromosome, splits longitudinally and forming two centromeres. At this stage, chromosomes become arranged on the equatorial plate, and the centromere of each chromosome, which have been not separated completely during the prophase second, but during metaphase second, the centromeres of each chromosome splits or separates longitudinally and forming two centromeres. At the end of metaphase second, the centromeres are connected to the spindle fibers from the opposite poles of the dividing cell. So at the metaphase stage, metaphase second, the chromosomes become arranged to the equatorial plate, then centromeres of each chromosome split longitudinally and forming the two centromeres, means the chromosomes get arranged at the equatorial plane, then centromeres get separated, the centromeres of each chromosome get separated, and there is attachment of the spindle fibers to the centromere from the opposite pole or the respective pole to the centromeres. So at this stage, metaphase second, chromosome become arranged on the equatorial plate. The centromere of each chromosome splits or divides longitudinally and forming two centromeres, and at the end of metaphase second, at the end of metaphase second, centromeres are connected centromeres are connected to the spindle fibers from respective poles or the opposite poles, and the nuclear membrane also disappears. Nuclear membrane also get disappeared at the end of metaphase second, and then begins the next phase of second meiotic division, that is anaphase second. So fourth stage of the second meiotic division is the anaphase second. It begins with the movement of the chromatids. It begins with the movement of the chromatids or the pulling of the chromatids to the opposite poles with the contraction of the spindle fibers which have been connected with the centromeres of each of the chromatid, and thus the chromatids of the chromosomes get pulled by the contraction of the spindle fibers or the chromosomal fibers to the opposite poles, and they are pulled by the contraction of the spindle fibers. So during anaphase second, what happens? It begins with the movement or passage. The anaphase second begins with the movement or the passage of chromatids to the opposite poles, and the chromatids of the chromosomes are pulled away from the equator line to the opposite poles by the contraction of the spindle fibers of the respective pole or a respective side. So this is about the anaphase second. Then this is the diagram representing interkinesis or interphase second. So at the end of telophase 1, these two cells are formed, each with a haploid nucleus consisting of 3 chromosomes. Each of the nucleus or the daughter nucleus consisting of 3 chromosomes in each of the daughter nucleus of the two cells which are formed at the end of telophase 1. Now these are the chromosomes, haploid set of the chromosomes representing haploid set of the chromosomes of a species during the interkinesis or the interphase second, during which the two daughter cells with a haploid nucleus with a definite number of chromosomes are formed at the end of telophase 1. Then begins with the prophase second. During interphase second or interkinesis, there is no duplication of the DNA taking place, and thus the whatever the chromosome complement or the set of chromosome present in the nucleus of the daughter cells during the telophase 1 are present as it is in the two daughter cells or the nucleus of two daughter cells during interkinesis or interphase second also. So there is a no DNA duplication. So the cells now containing the cells of the interphase second now containing haploid set of the chromosomes in the nucleus of two cells. So these are the two cells formed at the end of the telophase 1. Now same cells then undergoing the further process of meiosis, that is the second meiotic division. So interkinesis or interphase second is just a resting phase, and during which the haploid set of the chromosomes will be retained as it is due to lack of DNA duplication or replication during the interphase second or interkinesis. Then the process of second meiotic division begins with a prophase second, or interkinesis or interphase second is followed by a prophase second. So during prophase second, what happens? During prophase second, the chromatids of the chromosome, which have been separated, during the telophase 1. So during prophase second, the chromatids which have been readily separated But during prophase second, the centromeres of the chromosomes, the centromeres of the each chromosome split or divide longitudinally into two daughter centromeres, and the nuclear membrane begins to disintegrate or to disappear, and thirdly, the spindle fiber formation also taking place during the prophase second as shown in the second figure. So the first figure representing interkinesis or the interphase second, then second diagram representing the prophase second, during which the chromatids of the chromosome which have been separated readily, only the centromeres are uh, not separated, the chromatids are held together in the regions of the centromeres. So during the prophase second, centromeres of the each chromosome divides or the split longitudinally to form two centromeres. Then nuclear membrane begins to disintegrate and disappear, and the formation of spindle or the formation of spindle formation also begin to form in the prophase second. So during prophase second, there is a formation of spindles or spindle fiber formation taking place during the prophase second, or begins to form the spindles. Then nuclear membrane begins to disappear or disintegrate, and centromeres of each chromosome split into two centromeres longitudinally to form two centromeres. So this is the uh, activity or the process occurring during the prophase second. Spindle fiber formation, disintegration of the nuclear membrane, and thirdly, division of the centromere of each chromosome to form two centromeres. So these are the events or the activities occurring during the prophase second. Then this figure shows after prophase second, during prophase second, that is the chromosomes or the chromatids of the chromosome which have been condensed or become thicker or shorter. During prophase second, the condensation of the chromosome also taking place during the prophase second. Chromosomes undergoing shortening or thickening of the chromatids of the chromosome, then division of the centromeres, formation of spindles, and disintegration of the nuclear membrane beginning during the prophase second. Now, this figure shows the metaphase second. Now, first figure showing metaphase second, during which the chromosomes have been arranged along the equatorial plane. The chromosomes are arranged along the equatorial plane. Then centromeres which have been divided, the centromeres which have been divided into two centromeres, the spindle fibers get attached to the centromeres of the respective pole. The chromosomes get arranged at the equatorial plane. Then spindle fibers have been formed completely, extending from the opposite ends of the cell or from the centrioles to the central portion or the middle portion or equatorial portion or the region of the cell, where the chromosomal fibers get attached to the centromeres of the respective end or respective pole, and nuclear membrane have been completely disappeared in a metaphase second. So in metaphase second, the nuclear membrane is completely disappeared, spindle fibers are completely formed, and extending their spindle fibers or the microtubules from the opposite poles into the central portion of the cell, so as to get connected with the centromeres of the chromatids or the chromosomes which have been arranged along the equatorial plane. So this is what the activities occurring during the metaphase second. So in a prophase second, there is a shortening or condensation of the chromosomes, then beginning of the formation of spindles, then beginning of disintegration of the nuclear membrane taking place during the prophase second. Then during metaphase second, the chromosomes which have already been, the chromatids of the chromosome which have already been separated during the telophase first. Now these chromatids which have uh, held together by means of the centromeres. So during the metaphase, centromeres get separated. Centromeres of the chromosomes get separated, or chromatids of the chromosome, sister chromatids of the chromosome get separated due to the splitting or division of the centromeres during the metaphase, and the chromosomes or the chromatids of the chromosome get arranged along the equatorial plane. Now, during metaphase second, the nuclear membrane have been completely disappeared. Spindle fibers are completely formed and extending from opposite poles to the middle portion of in the equatorial region, or the portion where the chromatids of the chromosomes get arranged along the equatorial plane. So ultimately, the chromosomal fibers or the spindle fibers get connected with the centromeres of the chromatids of the chromosome, which have been arranged at the equatorial plane in a metaphase second in both the cells. Then next phase is anaphase second. So in a next diagram you can see the chromatids of the chromosome and the centromeres of the chromosome which have been separated completely during the metaphase second. Then the spindle fibers which have been connected to the centromeres of the chromosomes or the chromatids of the chromosome to the respective poles or opposite poles, and after which during the anaphase second the spindle fibers of the mitotic apparatus or spindle fiber attachment get contracted and thus pulls the chromatids of the chromosome away from the equatorial plane towards the opposite end of the cell or the opposite poles of the cell. So during the anaphase, that is early anaphase or late anaphase. So in early phase, there is a simply the chromatids are pulled away from the equatorial plane, and at the end of the anaphase second, the chromatids of the chromosome which have been pulled away from one another, which will reach to the opposite ends of the cell or opposite pole of the cells, and resulting into the formation of nuclear mass, or the nuclear material at the opposite poles of the each cell. So in both the cells, in metaphase second or in anaphase second, you can see both the cells showing the arrangement of the chromosomes at the equatorial plane, attachment of the spindle fibers, and during anaphase, the chromatids of the chromosome are pulled to the opposite ends of the cell during the anaphase second. So this is what the activities occurring during the metaphase second and the anaphase second as shown in the figure. Then telophase second. Now in a telophase second you can see during anaphase second the haploid sets of the chromosomes or the haploid sets of the chromatids of the chromosome which are now pulled or will reach to the opposite end of the cell and forming two daughter nuclei in each of the dividing cell. Means at the end of second meiotic division, that is at the end of telophase second, four daughter nuclei with a haploid set of chromosomes are formed in each of the cell. So each cell will have the two daughter nucleus with a haploid set of the chromosomes or a sister chromatids or the sister daughter chromosomes. So at the end of telophase second, as shown in the figure, at the end of anaphase second, the complete set of the chromosomes or the chromatids of the chromosome are pulled away from the equatorial plane and will reach at the opposite ends of the cells to form a complete set of the chromatids or the chromosomes or the daughter chromatids or the daughter chromosomes at the two end of the each cell. Means in both the cells there are two daughter nuclei with a haploid set of the chromosomes are formed. So as shown in the figure. So during telophase second, the two set of the chromosomes or the chromatids of the chromosome which have been reached to the opposite poles during the anaphase and telophase. So this will form a nuclear material or will form a daughter nucleus. Again, there is a formation of nuclear membrane. There is a formation of nuclear membrane around the daughter nuclei in each cell. There is a formation of nuclear membrane around the two daughter nuclei in each of the cell, and this will result into the formation of four daughter nuclei with the haploid set of the chromosomes in a four cells. In some cases, the two cells are formed first, that is at the end of first meiotic division, and two more cells are formed at the end of second meiotic division, that is the telophase second. In some cases, the uh, the nuclear membranes or the cell may divide at the end of second meiotic division, or in some cases the two daughter cells are formed at the end of first meiotic division and two daughter cells are formed at the end of the second meiotic division. But in both the cases, the four daughter nuclei or four haploid cells are formed at the end of second meiotic division as shown in the figure. So, at the end of telophase second, four cells as shown in the figure, four cells with a haploid number of chromosomes or a single set of the chromosomes of the species in their nuclei are formed at the end of meiosis second. So this is what the diagrams representing the end of the meiosis, end of second meiotic division of the meiosis and resulting into the formation of four haploid daughter cells with four haploid set of chromosomes in the nucleus of the four cells. Now, already we have explained about the uh, prophase second, metaphase second, anaphase second. Now, this is the information regarding the telophase second. So, the movement of the chromatids to the opposite poles ultimately results in the formation of the nucleus at each pole. So, at the end of anaphase, the two set of the chromosomes or the two set of the chromatids of the chromosome which are pulled away from the equator and will reach finally at the opposite ends of the cell, and that will result into a formation of two daughter nucleus with the haploid set of chromosomes in each of the cell. Out of these two cells, in each of the cell there is a formation of two daughter nucleus at the end of telophase second. So the movement of the chromatids to the opposite poles ultimately results in the formation of nucleus at each pole. The nucleus, centriole and the chromosomes then return to the interphagic condition. So at the end of second meiotic division or at the end of telophase second, the nucleus which have been formed in the both the cells, the nucleus, the two daughter nucleus with the haploid set of the chromosomes are formed in each of the cell. The two daughter nuclei with the haploid set of the chromosomes are formed in each of the cell at the end of telophase second. Means at the end of telophase second, totally four haploid cells with four haploid daughter nuclei or with a four haploid set of the chromosomes, one in each, are formed. So the nucleus, centriole and the chromosomes return to the interphagic condition. Means again the chromosome become thin or filamentous or the thread-like, uh, forming the interphagic condition. The nucleus, centrioles and the chromosomes of each of the daughter nucleus with the haploid set of the chromosomes will return to the interphagic condition. Means again the chromosome become elongated, thin or filamentous or become coiled during the interphase during the interphagic condition, uh, and that happens at the end of the telophase second. From two haploid nuclei, from two haploid nuclei at the end of meiosis 1, from two haploid nuclei at the end of meiosis 1, four haploid nuclei are formed after the completion of the meiosis second. So as we have explained, in a first meiotic division or in a second meiotic division, at the end of first meiotic division, that is at the end of telophase 1, two haploid nuclei are formed. Two haploid nuclei are formed in the dividing cell. From these two haploid nuclei which are formed at the end of meiosis 1, four haploid nuclei are formed. Four haploid nuclei are formed after the completion of the meiosis second, that is telophase second. Thus, meiosis second, thus meiosis second is an equational division. Thus, meiosis second is an equational division. Means the chromosome number remains same as that of the meiosis 1. Meiosis second is an equational division and maintaining the same chromosome number, that is haploid to haploid. So at the end of telophase 1, two daughter nuclei are formed, each with a haploid set of the chromosomes in the daughter nuclei or in the two daughter cells. And at the end of meiosis second, the four daughter nuclei or four daughter cells are formed, each with a, again the haploid set of the chromosomes in the nucleus of four daughter cells or four gametes which are produced at the end of second maturation division or second meiotic division of the meiosis. Then last stage of the second meiotic division, that is cytokinesis. So during telophase second, during telophase second, four daughter cells are formed, each with a nucleus with a haploid set of the chromosomes, indicating that the four daughter cells or four haploid daughter cells or four haploid gametes are thus formed at the end of telophase second of the second meiotic division. Then the process of cytokinesis, cell walls are formed between the daughter nuclei after the completion of the telophase 1. Cell walls or the cell membranes are formed between the two daughter nuclei after the completion of the telophase 1 as shown in the figure. Already we have explained the diagrams showing two daughter nucleus and the cells divides into two daughter cells, means there is a formation of cell wall or the cell membrane at the telophase 1. In some species, cell walls develop simultaneously at the end of second division. In some species, cell wall develops or formed simultaneously at the end of second division. while in other species, a cell wall is formed at the end of meiosis 1. So, there are certain species of animals or the plants where the cell wall can be formed between the two haploid nucleus at the end of meiosis 1, or there are certain species in which the cell walls are formed at the end of meiosis second, that is telophase second. So all the daughter nuclei, four daughter nuclei, will acquire the cell wall or the cell membranes either at the end of meiosis 1 or the meiosis 2. So cell walls are formed between the daughter nuclei after the completion of telophase 1. In some species, cell wall develops simultaneously at the end of second meiotic division, while in other species, a cell wall is formed at the end of meiosis 1 and then successively at the end of meiosis second, as we have explained in the figures. In both the cases, four cells with a haploid number of chromosomes in their nuclei are formed. In both the cases, that is, there are certain organisms in which the cell wall can be formed at the telophase 1 or first meiotic division or at the end of second meiotic division in all the four daughter nuclei, or all the four daughter nuclei or all the four daughter haploid cells are formed at the end of second meiotic division or telophase second. So in certain cells or in certain cases or in a certain species, the cell walls are formed at the end of first meiotic division, or in certain cases the cell walls are formed in all the four daughter cells or four daughter nuclei at the end of meiosis second. But in both the cases, four cells with a haploid number of chromosomes are formed in their nuclei. In both the cases, four cells with a haploid number of chromosomes in their nucleus are formed. Then, last point, that is the significance of meiosis. Meiosis is a very important event in the life cycle of sexually reproducing organism. It is opposite of fertilization. In fertilization, the diploid chromosome number is restored back to the original one, that is fusion or union of two haploid gametes will result into diploid set of the chromosomes in a process of fertilization. So in fertilization, the diploid chromosome number is restored back to the original one, that is parental chromosome number will be acquired in the zygote or in the fertilized egg during fertilization. Whereas meiosis reduces the chromosome number to the half. The chromosomes in a species remain constant because of meiosis. That is diploid to diploid through haploid. So during growth and development, every species or all the species of the organism which have diploid set of the chromosomes in a nucleus in their body cells, but during gametogenesis or during meiosis, the diploid chromosome number is reduced to half in the gametes. So on fertilization of the two haploid gametes, the diploid chromosome number will be retained or restored in the zygote, which will again then develop into new organism with the same diploid chromosome number in a new organism. So the meiosis is thus very important to maintain the same chromosome number as that of parent in the offsprings. For example, in human being, the somatic cells contain 46 chromosomes. For example, in human being, the somatic cells or all the body cells contain 46 chromosomes, and if there will be no meiosis during gamete formation, the resultant gametes will have 46 chromosomes. So when the male and female gametes with a 46 chromosome fuse will form the zygote containing 92 chromosomes. So in the next generation, the chromosome number will be doubled to the 184. But such a situation does not happen or occur due to the process of meiosis. And hence, each gamete possesses only haploid number of chromosomes. So, the meiosis is very important or responsible for the maintenance of same diploid chromosome number of the species from one generation to the next generation of the species. So during meiosis, the that is first meiotic division and second meiotic division result into the formation of haploid gametes, and the haploid gametes produced during meiosis are very important for maintenance of or maintaining the same diploid chromosome number or the constant diploid chromosome number of a species from generation to generation. And this happens only because of reduction division. That is, chromosome number of the diploid cell or the gamete mother cell is reduced to half in the gametes. So on the fertilization of the two gametes, that is male and female gametes from two parents, will result into the formation of diploid zygote with the same chromosome number as that of the parent species. So this is about the significance of meiosis. So with this, today we'll stop here, and remaining part we'll explain next time. So uh, significance of meiosis, that is one significance, that is a formation of haploid gametes or reduced gametes with exactly half number of the chromosomes in the nucleus, that will result into formation of diploid zygote with the same chromosome number as that of the parents. And second significance, that is left. Second significance of the meiosis, that is there is a reshuffling of the genetic material during the crossing over, and this gives an opportunity for the exchange of genes between the homologous chromosomes. So the separation of the chromosomes at anaphase is at random. The separation of the chromosome at anaphase is at random. So the two nuclei are formed at the end of meiosis 1 are neither purely maternal nor paternal, but random combination of both, Random separation of the chromosomes, and crossing over are responsible for the variations found in sexually reproducing organisms, and variations provide the raw material for the evolution. So first significance of the meiosis is the formation of haploid gametes at the end of meiosis or at the end of second meiotic division, which will be useful or responsible for maintenance of diploid chromosome number from one generation to the next generation, because the haploid gametes of two parents, the two haploid gametes, that is male and female gametes of a species, fuse to form a diploid zygote with the same chromosome number or same parental chromosome number or same diploid chromosome number of the species in a zygote will result into the maintenance of the diploid chromosome number from one generation to the next generation, which is the first significance of the meiosis, that is formation of haploid gametes useful for maintenance of same diploid chromosome number in a next generation. And second significance of the meiosis is the reshuffling of the genetic material, reshuffling or the exchange or the interchange of the genetic material between the chromatids of the chromosome due to the process of crossing over. So second significance of the meiosis is there is a reshuffling of the genetic material or exchange or interchange of the genetic material between the chromatids of the chromosome due to the process of crossing over. This gives an opportunity for the exchange. The process of crossing over thus gives an opportunity for exchange of genes between the homologous chromosomes. The separation of chromosomes at anaphase, the separation of the chromosome at anaphase is at random, and so two nuclei formed at the end of meiosis 1 are neither purely maternal nor paternal, but random combination of the both. Random separation of the chromosomes, random separation of the chromosomes during the anaphase, random separation of the chromosomes during anaphase, and the crossing over are responsible for the variations found in sexually reproducing organisms. And we know the variations provide the raw material for the evolution. So this is what about the true significance of the process of meiosis. So with this, today we will stop here, and next time we'll continue the remaining part of the topic. Thank you.